Well, folks, the winning way and diet for belly fat.
Uh-oh.
Now, just that title alone,
Uh-oh.
people say, okay, this one need to be recorded. I'm sitting up in my seat. I got my pen and pad ready to write. They are bowling down my alley. Diet for belly fat, all right? But just before we go there, let's do a quick review, honey, as we always do.
No, we're doing that journaling. We're writing everything down.
Okay.
Remember now, we are eating breakfast in the morning. You know, we got that kitchen closed at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
You know, we also have been saying to you about that water. We do 2 cups of water. How'd you do last week? 2 cups of water, because that's going to change, don't you?
All right.
Okay, so we're really excited about what we're going to be talking about. Belly fat, Curtis, come on now. You have to break that one down about the belly fat.
Okay, now, folks, so we're going to go to school. I'm going to make it plain and simple.
Okay.
There are 2 components of belly fat. So let's go to our next slide at this time. 2 components of belly fat. We're going to learn 2 words today. So the first word is, on the screen, subcutaneous.
Okay.
Right? The word cutaneous refers to the skin. Sub means under, like submarine underwater. So subcutaneous is fat under the skin. All right? That's not as dangerous as the fat in the visceral fat. The word visceral means internal. This is fat that's covering the internal organs of the body, in that circle. So within that circle, you have pancreas. Fat around the pancreas is going to increase the risk of diabetes. Again, within that circle, you have the kidneys.
Okay.
Renal failure.
Okay.
Fat around the kidneys, all right? You also have gallbladder. Gallstones, fat around the gallstones, all right? In the gallbladder. You also have the liver. This is actually a disease called simply fatty liver.
Right.
In that circle, you have the heart, cardiovascular, heart disease. In that circle, you have the stomach and colon cancer, stomach cancer. All within that circle. Visceral means internal fat. That's the fat that's most dangerous when there's fat in that area as well. So thank you for that slide.
Well,
now we have a visual.
Okay, now you talking about, now, this is 5 pounds of fat.
Oh my goodness, just 5.
5 pounds
not 10,
of fat.
Just 5.
And now I guess the question is,
You can put it anywhere, right?
it can be, well, we're talking about belly fat.
You can put it right there, baby.
It could be right here.
Right there.
Okay. It can be on the arm.
On the hips, on the thighs.
It can be on the hips and the thighs. Okay, but usually you don't see a fat neck.
No.
Or fat fingernails.
Or fat earlobe.
We're concerned because this type of fat,
that type of fat
is covering the major organs of the body.
Internal organs.
Wow.
Internal organs. Yeah,
Wow.
that's what is most dangerous. That fat, the visceral fat, meaning the internal organs of the body, visceral fat.
So inside or outside, trouble.
There's
Belly
trouble.
fat.
There's trouble.
All right, you got to unpack that one.
All right.
let's
So
unpack
I guess the next slide here's the next slide, folks. What about food to target belly fat? So that's why we entitled this one, The Belly Fat Buster. Here it is, folks. Now, there's 2 journals. Listen to this, the words. Here it is. Increased consumption of soluble fiber. All fibers can do it, but particularly soluble fiber was associated with weight loss and, there's that word we just learned, visceral internal fat. All right? So you have there at the bottom, what is soluble fiber? At the bottom, we have a list of foods that contain high amounts of soluble fiber. You have the apples, citrus fruits, legumes, oats. Now, we did a couple of weeks ago, oats and apples.
Yes, we
did.
did.
Breakfast,
Yes, we did.
that was soluble fiber. And then you have root vegetables, legumes. We're going to talk about that in the next 2 slides. And then also in the picture, you have carrots and broccoli. Soluble fiber in the picture. Let's talk about that in the picture right there. Soluble fiber.
Talking about that soluble fiber. Look at this picture. We're now talking about that stir fry.
There you go.
We talk about stir fry. We're now talking about the carrots and the broccoli, red and green peppers, and then of course that meat alternative. We're now talking about tofu or some other meat alternative. Now I know you're saying, I ain't got time to be cutting up no carrots and
ain't got time for all that
stuff. Okay, but guess what? At the supermarkets now, there are fresh mixed vegetables. There are also frozen mixed vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
All you got to do is put a little bit of olive oil in your skillet, put those vegetables in there, and make sure you get those carrots and stuff in there as well. And then you want to put that meat alternative in it. And I'm saying, get you some rice going on or some noodles. You have a knockdown, drag out, yeah.
Now, knock down, you need to interpret those terms. Knock down, drag out. Those terms mean.
But
is that a Philly term?
But for real.
For real.
A good meal. And we're talking about the winning way. Yeah.
The soluble fiber. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, where are we going?
Well, now, let me explain why this works. Now, fiber in general,
okay,
but soluble fiber in particular. Let's go to our next slide. I want to look at these 3 pictures in the stomach. Now, all 3 are 400 calories, all 3. Now, of course, you have oil, nothing but fat. You see how little that is in relationship to the stomach. Then you have 4 calories of chicken. But look at that picture on the right, 400 calories of fiber. You see how when soluble fiber goes into the system, once it hits water, that fiber swells up, fills up the stomach, and we can last 4 to 5 hours and reduce the desire to eat between the meals. So as the saying goes, I said this to one person a few years ago, and they were really shocked. Here it is. I'm going to say it again.
Okay.
I'm going to say it real slow. Most people are not eating enough food to lose weight.
Now that's a heavy one there, and that's a true statement. That's a true statement.
Most people are not eating enough food
That's true.
to lose weight. In reference to fiber, in particular, soluble fiber. You see that in the stomach right there on the last right picture.
I'm thinking about, we already talked about that digital scale. Remember, the food digital scale
That's
is where
right.
you want to go. But I remember in one of my programs when I was doing the food digital scale, where it said I could have 11 ounces of salad.
Okay.
Now, I don't know.
The
11
fiber,
ounces of salad as far as fiber is concerned. That's not just your lettuce. Okay, then you got some broccoli on there, you got some beans on there, you got some olives on there. You talking about some real stuff. You got your alternative meat, and still, it's still a lot to get to 11 ounces.
And that was a lot of food for you.
Yes, it was. It was a lot. But you know what? I gladly received it because it had all that fiber in it.
There you go.
And it's going to do its thing.
Yeah. So now next slide. So let's have a fiber face-off. Now we did this with the breakfast a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Oats and apples, the soluble fiber.
Right.
Let's do it now with the root vegetable, potato, and legumes, chili beans. Look at this picture. Talk about this, honey.
Now, we got that potato. And by the way, I want to remind you, Mr. Potato says, please leave my skin on. Don't take the skin off.
Okay.
Because the potato say get a cold.
Let's
just keep the skin on. Let's bake that potato. Now, look at this. In this graphic, we got the baked potato, and the grams of fiber is only 4. But now let's go ahead and put some chili beans, 1 cup of chili beans. Look at the number. It bumps all the way up from a 4 to a 16 grams of fiber. Now, I'm saying when you get some chili on top of that baked potato.
With the skin on.
With the skin on, you got some
good
good eating.
A good eating. Not good eating, but good eating.
That's eating.
Yeah, that's even better than good eating. All right, yeah.
Okay.
So now we have an animation. All right, and if the sound, turn off the animation, I mean, not turn off the animation, but turn off the audio, I'm going to talk through this. So let's go to an animation at this time, and I'll talk through just the difference between whole grain and refined grain. So when it starts, I'll start talking at this. Okay, here we go. So now, whole grain, if we can turn off the sound, whole grain enters into the body, and goes into the system. Whole grain, that's a lot of fiber, it goes in, and the glucose, blood sugar, goes into the cell for energy. This is whole grain, such as oats, etc. All right? So that's what whole grain does. Now, let's look at refined grain, white rice, white bread, or ultra-refined potato chips, cookies, etc. It converts into blood sugar so fast that extra blood sugar goes into our fat cells, and the fat cells begin to enlarge.
Mercy.
That's why we gain weight. Refined, processed sugars, refined foods, ultra-refined potato chips, cookies, etc. And that's why we gain weight as far as that's concerned.
All right, so here comes that challenge. I know
All right,
you're
here we
ready.
go.
I know
The
you're ready.
challenge.
Write it down. Write it down in your journal. We now have to measure our waist.
So, so now women carry their weight in the hips and thighs,
Yes.
not in the stomach.
Yes.
That's why there's a difference between the waist. Women, no more than 35. Now, men carries ours in the stomach, so men, you get an extra 5, no more than 40. So let's go and do that. So, folks, disrobe, breathe, relax, put the tape over your hip bone, over your belly button, not too tight, but just snug enough.
Right.
And mark it out. Now, we've been doing this for 4 weeks, so sometimes the waist should be coming down already.
Yeah,
well, let's go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, between almost home when the pastor had the 2 weeks going on.
That's right.
And now we've got 4 weeks, and that's 6 weeks. Oh,
Yeah,
the
so-
waist should be smaller.
And now we're going with, starting today, 3 cups of water a day. We're moving up the ladder. 3 cups
24
a
ounces,
day, all right?
24 ounces of water. We
There
got to
you
get
go.
that water in. Okay, so
So we
once
got
again,
something tomorrow, honey, and let's go to our last slide at this time, the last slide.
Yeah.
And let's talk
in
about
the
this,
health,
honey.
The health department, we just health division, health part of the church.
Health ministries.
Oh, health ministries.
Okay.
All of those things together. We want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day.
Yes,
you
we
know
do.
what I'm saying? We want to, but now, I know. I don't want you to cheat because I know you got that chocolate. You got that cake and cookies and candy. You know you're going to be doing it
It only
tomorrow.
comes once a
Your
year, though.
lover.
Just once a year, baby. Just once a year.
So to keep you from having to go through a bunch of changes, go ahead and do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But now on to Monday, let's get back on the winning weight challenge, okay? Winning weight challenge. So you see we already have a dessert up in there, Curtis, they can think about.
There you go.
So
let's close out. All right. So our closing text, John 10:10. Jesus said, I come, that they might have life and have it more abundantly.